It is for everything, son. It's for attendance, it's for grades, it's for behavior, it's for music, art, gym, you name it.
I should put my current address or the address here?
Yeah, put your current address. That's great. Zach, do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I got 3 stepbrothers and 2 stepsisters.
Wow, that's a huge family.
And are you a commander, Taylor?
I don't know. What
What does it say up at the top?
Commander.
You a commander? Wow.
We hear so much about the negative things that happen in Milwaukee schools, but we rarely hear about the good.
Favorites?
I have the opportunity to influence children, and because of that, you have a drive and a thirst that you want to make sure that they're successful and do better. You want to do right by them.
It is rocket science teaching a child to read. It is rocket science teaching a child to write, and to be engaged in that.
Kids want to learn. Parents want their kids to learn, and teachers want to teach. And if you put an environment together that will allow all 3 of those components to come together, you'll become a successful school.
While there are problems and challenges, there are many more positive things that usually don't get media attention.
Congratulations to those students representing Carver Academy in the district-wide science fair.
This program will introduce you to 3 principals whose individual styles are making positive differences in the lives of Milwaukee public school children and preparing us for the challenges of the future.
You mustn't hear me. I said take the hood off.
And your narrators are students from the schools being featured.
Being principal is like driving on the highway and going 80 miles an hour because you're constantly interacting. You can have a 1-minute interaction with someone, and you could do that. You can have like 300 interactions during the day with people.
Dr. Floyd E. Williams, Jr. is the principal of the George Washington Carver Academy of Mathematics and Science.
You go through preparation for classes, for example, to become principal. And no matter what the preparation is, when you walk in these shoes, when you're sitting behind that desk and you have to make the calls, it's not a book, it's not a manual that's written that could tell you everything that go on, that, hey, when this occurs, this is how you solve this problem.
Carver Academy is a K-4 through 8th grade specialty school. 95% of its 548 students last year were African American. Most of our students come from low-income families, which can provide unique challenges.
Because of the socioeconomics, we have a lot of parents in which that are transient, nomadic, and what I mean by that, phone numbers change, addresses change. Because of the economy, for example, foreclosure rate is at an all-time high. Just a student this morning I met with, he was having some difficulties in the classroom, and after he told me what was going on, then I could see exactly why. He informed me that recently that his mother lost their home and went into foreclosure, and so currently right now they're in between houses. So they may stay with the stepdad one night, may stay with the grandmother another night. So anytime you have, that uncertainty in the home, then when you come to school, then of course, then there's some ripple effects in which that occur.
The students are still held to a high standard.
Word number 6. What word? Poseidon. That word is Poseidon. What word? Poseidon.
We try to have high expectations for them. We hold them accountable for their actions. We let them know that, we have an expectation, and if you don't follow that expectation, then there's a consequence for it. The consequence could be positive or it could be negative, but there will be a consequence for it.
The Academy is entering its 5th year. It is the result of a merger between 2 smaller schools that were 5 blocks apart. Dr. Williams was the principal of Garfield Elementary School and proposed the merger.
So my idea was that if you have 326 students in one building at Garfield Avenue, 220 students in Palmer, we're already sharing buses. We're both struggling as far as with additional support staff. So why wouldn't we merge the 2 schools together to become one, to be able to provide bountiful resources for the 550 students?
The school is named after the legendary scientist and inventor.
Garfield Avenue was a math and science specialty school, and so they wanted to keep that tradition on. They came up with Dr. Carver because of his stewardship.
Each year, 8th grade students go on a college tour.
And the first year we went on a college tour, we went to Tuskegee University, where Dr. Carver was a professor. We also went to Alabama, A&M, Spelman, Clark, Atlanta, Morehouse.
The math and science curriculum offers unique opportunities for the students.
Math and science we feel is important because it always has been and it always will be the wave of the future. When you think about President Obama, he talked about his green technology, how he's challenging schools to go green, and how they're looking at just creating a whole new field of engineering just based on these things. So we want to be the premier school to produce these future scientists, future engineers, future mathematicians, so that they can compete. We have partnerships with Urban Ecology, in which our students receive additional classes outside of the school in the area of science. We have a lot of collaborations with different engineering corporations, companies, or a lot of activities in the area of mathematics and science. We also do some things that we think are special, as far as we host a math Olympics for our students to participate in that. We recently just had a science fair that our students participated in.
And after that, we did have a harder time counting heads and tails, but on everyone. And after that, we just did it, and we got all the way to 100 on all of them.
So why did you have a hard time?
Because you kept having to do it over and over. But then after
you kept
that,
losing count?
yeah.
Education is a lifelong learning process, not just for students, but also for the teachers as well, because you can become outdated quick with technology, things of that nature. I mean, if you think about it, now, just over the past 2 years, people are Facebooking, they're tweeting, emails go to your phone, text messages, etc. So, I mean, you can literally be standing here and technology can pass you by.
In a profession with few African American males in leadership positions, Dr. Williams is often referred to as a role model.
I hear that a lot, that I'm a role model, but I don't think the students realize how much they influence me. I mean, and I said this to the staff, but, you know, we think that, you know, the students learn from us, but in actuality, we learn a lot from the students. So they keep me very hip, they keep me very astute as far as what the latest fashion is, as far as what the latest slang, vernacular, what's in, what's not. So I think as far as a role model, and to some degree, yes. Hopefully I can look back and say that I positively influenced these students.
What's your grade point average?
4.0.
4.0, great job.
Okay, come on.
All right, keep it up.
He is a strong advocate for his school.
Someone taught me about the Me Too rule, and the Me Too rule is that if somebody else is getting it, then me too. So if someone else has the opportunity, then why don't we have it as well? And so I pushed the envelope with that. And I found out that just like being principal, you have to be proactive. You can't sit at the desk. You got to be intermingling within the hallways, in the classrooms, being very proactive instead of reactive, putting out fires before they start. So oftentimes when they come with resources and fighting, you have to be out there in the forefront, raising havoc and asking those questions. Also, too, applying for things. And I'm trying to stay above everyone else. I mean, it is competition. There's 213 schools in the Milwaukee public school system, so you have to try to separate yourself.
Good morning, Hartford University School. Welcome to the first day of June. To start our day this morning, we have Claire and Olivia.
Here's to the world we love, blue skies and ponies and children at play, earth below, stars above, this is the world we love.
Public schools are so different from the way the press and the larger community sees Milwaukee Public Schools. When people walk into our school, they are surprised. And they're not just surprised to walk into my school. They're surprised to walk into just about every Milwaukee Public Schools. Children are engaged, they're working. The conditions of buildings is incredible in this city. And teachers are teaching, and it's a serious atmosphere.
Dr. Cynthia Elwood has been the principal of the Hartford University School for more than a decade.
It's my commitment to making sure that the children that I serve get a better education than I did.
The 92-year-old school is located on the campus of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee with grades K4 through 8. The school houses 670 students and there is a waiting list. Last year, the student body was 74% African American, 15% white, and 5% Hispanic. Many of our students are low income.
Hartford is a school that's committed to the highest standards of the head and the heart. There's a great deal of research that says that kids who go to schools that are populated by poorer children get a very, very different kind of education than kids who go attend schools that are populated by the most privileged kids. And Hartford is committed to reversing that, to offering the highest education to kids of every socioeconomic background. Well, I would say that my number one job as a principal is to hire amazing people. And that is what has made this school great. We're not there yet in terms of where we want to go, but every single last one of these people I would trust my own child to.
Hello. Okay, yeah, I see it. All right.
There is no typical day for any principal as far as I know. I generally come in with a list of things that have seized me in the middle of the night that I absolutely have to accomplish, and don't know whether I'm going to be able to hit those. So I probably will hit one or two of them. But I come in and first of all, I stand on the front steps and I greet the students. And I think that's really, really important to sort of establish the sense of normalcy and community and we're here, let's go. And then I come on the air and the PA and greet children again. We try to, we celebrate birthdays and try to have some kind of academic component to that morning announcement process. And then all bets are off. At the school level, the things that make a difference are, first of all, leadership at every level. So I'm talking about teacher leadership, parental leadership, leadership among the students, and leadership at the administrative level. All those people need to be working together in order to make a school work. To be able to sort of pull together a very, very clear vision and direction is incredibly important. In this school, we're not only clear about providing a superior education, and by which I mean a superior education, I mean that children are truly asked to wrestle with problems, that they are asked to think in open-ended ways and not in, sort of yes or no or kind of limited answers. How will today, in your work with the younger children, I want you to stop and think about how you are going to make a difference in the life of one child today, maybe more. When you're ready.
Teach them new math skills and writing skills.
We care what happens on those tests, but much more important is that a child can dig into a topic, can represent multiple points of view on a point in history or a point of debate, that they can argue with evidence, that they can write powerfully and express their views, that they can express themselves through art, and that they show their humanity. That kind of vision is very, very important at a school level, and when an entire staff shares it like we do, it moves mountains.
It also improves test scores.
We've seen a huge increase recently in mathematics. I'm very happy to see that. What has happened is that initially when we started to move, we started to see massive across-the-board gains in every subject area and every grade year after year. And we first surpassed the district average, and if you can believe it, 10 years ago this school performed below the MPS average, and that at that time was saying something. MPS has also really moved over that decade. But we began to see those kind of immediate, long gains that sustained themselves. First we hit the district average, then we hit the national average, and now we continue to kind of scratch after the state. For the last 5 years, we have exceeded the state in terms of our writing scores. At times met the state in reading and in some grades math, but we still are not there, and we will not be happy until we've exceeded the state performance.
Our school has a strong commitment to the arts.
I think it's extremely unusual around the country that while a lot of schools, really all over the country, in every socioeconomic background, are cutting back on the arts. And we have done nothing but increase our commitment to the arts over the last decade. And part of that is our parents. They raise about $15,000 a year, and that allows us to have artists in residence at every grade every year. So children work with an artist in residence on a 40-hour project.
The courses are structured so that the students take harder courses earlier in the day.
Kids are fresher earlier in the day. They're much more likely to be seriously focused earlier in the day. So we do indeed try, in the elementary grades, we try to schedule reading and mathematics in the first half of the day before they go out to lunch and recess.
I want to hear the kind of good news that's about people doing good things for others. Yeah.
And I teach a community service course, and my goal is really to help middle school kids to feel responsible for the younger children in our school. So half of those children go out onto the playground every day and work with our primary age children, kindergarten through grade 2, and then half the children come upstairs with me and go into classrooms of 3rd through 5th graders, work on their reading, listen to children read. They may work on an art project connected with a social studies lesson, but those kids are responsible for interacting with our 3rd through 5th graders.
Reading right now. What book?
It's a story about Orlando Equinano, and it's about his life when he was kidnapped.
You want to start reading? And then if you need help, you can just tell me, all right?
I confessed he did, but I have served him, said I, for many years.
It's a challenge at that age, you know, to have children step outside of their own selves and really serve younger children.
Dr. Elwood enjoys being a principal, but she also finds it challenging.
I'm responsible for 740 people's welfare every day, and by definition, at least 670 of them are making immature decisions on a daily basis. So it can be a terrifying, weight and experience, but it's also just incredibly exhilarating. I get one day I counted how many hugs I got before 8 o'clock in the morning, and I got 405. So. There are very few people that can say that kind of thing, and it makes the job all worthwhile.
You getting an award today? You don't know?
We'll find out today.
We'll find out today at 1:30 if you're getting one. High honors?
I have honor roll.
Are you honor roll? Excellent. For me, the principal as a middle school, I can relate to many of these students here in this building and many of their families. I was brought up in the city here, and so some of the issues that many of them face, I can relate to some of that. So when a student comes into the building and has some challenges, I'm able to sit and understand where they're coming from, talk to the child, and hopefully provide some insight and some encouraging words for them to go out and move forward. And it's an opportunity for me to give back to the community.
Pascual Rodriguez is the principal of Bruce-Guadalupe Middle School.
One of the things that has made us successful here is the fact that our parents are involved in their child's education. And again, I said it before, it doesn't mean opening up an algebra book, it just means being available and accountable to your child. I think that, in my humble opinion, if the parents become involved in their child's education, it will make things much simpler, because you can throw money at a system all you want. The important thing is getting those parents to be involved in their child's education.
The middle school has 210 students in grades 6 through 8. The school is a part of the United Community Center, a human services and educational service primarily for Hispanics on Milwaukee's south side. The school is a public charter school.
We are under the auspices of, or chartered through the UW system as a public charter, which allows us, unlike a traditional MPS school, it allows us to go out and do fundraising for our programs and work with other companies to try to bring dollars in to support our educational endeavors here. The advantage is that you're able to raise as much money as you want for your program. The disadvantage is that you have to go out and raise the money to run the programs.
Mr. Rodriguez believes his Milwaukee upbringing is an asset.
When I was a student, there didn't seem to be as many students. Now we have a lot of students and we're responsible for all these students. There probably was a little bit more accessible for the parents because you typically went to your neighborhood school. That's not the case now. Now kids are pretty much scattered around the city. So from that standpoint, it does create a little bit of somewhat disconnect between the home and the school. We're fortunate here that most of our kids are either driven or walk to school, so we don't typically run into that issue. Discipline is I think, my strength. Is I run a well-oiled machine here. And, the kids know where I come from. The staff understand our philosophies here. But at the same time, I'm caring with the kids, and I'm not afraid to give a kid a hug if I have to. If they're crying, I'm able to understand where they come from. So it's tough love, as we call it. So I think from that standpoint, I really take a personal approach with the students.
He believes it is important to set realistic goals.
The third classroom probably will be converted into an art class. And then music, Kyle, unfortunately, will probably stay on a cart. Well, you know, it's setting expectations for your students, for your staff, and for the parents, and following through on those expectations. And when you set the bar high and you follow through on what you put forth as your expectations, people follow through. Your teachers have to feel that you trust in them. You empower them to make decisions, and you allow them to go ahead and succeed with those decisions that they make. My philosophy has always been, we're going to fail together, but we're going to succeed together more than we fail. And allowing teachers and giving them the space to grow, I think that's important for them, and know that, you know, it's okay to verify and confirm and verify, but at the same time, you have to trust in your staff that they're doing the right job. And I think once you give them that sense of responsibility, knowing that you trust in them, then they'll do their jobs well. And I just trust in my staff, and they know they trust in me, and we just have that type of relationship. So it works. It's been working for the last 8 years.
He believes strongly in parental participation.
The unique part of our program is that, for instance, in our parent conferences, we'll have 97 to 99% parent participation in that in our parent conferences, and that's all the way from the K3 to 8th grade. And as I mentioned to you just earlier, is you put in expectations off the parents, and you say, you know, we cannot be successful unless the student, the school, and the parents are all on one page. And what that means is allowing the parents to be a part of the program, expecting them to be a part of the program, and giving them the opportunities to be a part of the program. So because we are a part of a larger agency, there's a lot of opportunity for parents to volunteer here at the school or the agency itself. So we have a parent compact that this parent signed, and we follow through on that. So they have to put a certain amount of hours every year in order to complete their parent compact. So what we expect of them from a volunteer standpoint.
Better and best, very good. Little. Olivia.
More, most.
More and most, same as last time. And badly is another kind of tricky one. Hopefully you looked it up in the book. Jasmine?
Badly?
Yep.
The curriculum is designed not only to get you into the best high schools, to be competitive, but also to open doors, whether it be in a music department, whether it be in an engineer, or whether it be an athletic department, that when you enter into these high schools, golf is not something that's strange to you. Then engineering now it becomes an option and not something that's a dream that's unattainable. These kids are being exposed to many of these programs that they traditionally are not being exposed to in other school settings. So when they go off to high schools, many doors are open to them, and they can decide which door they want to enter.
Each year, the school presents an exhibition.
Exhibition is an opportunity for the students and the teachers to exhibit some theme that they worked on throughout the year. And what they do is in our building here is we convert our entire second floor into a certain theme. And then from that standpoint, the parents are able to come in on an evening and the students provide the tour of what they've learned on a specific theme.
This year's theme was volunteerism.
The community warehouse was a little neat.
By this experience, we felt proud to help out people rather than giving them a check.
The students throughout the year went to various places to do some volunteer work. To the community warehouse that's located here in the South Side, they organized and did some work for that place. They go over to the United Community Center has an elderly program where the kids go down and help and work with the elderlies. They clean some the parks or the neighborhood. They made some plants and they delivered them to the schools, to the neighboring houses, and provided plants for the people so they can use them in their lawns. Again, just giving them that opportunity, they've gone across the street and became read to the youngsters, went into the class and provided tutoring services before and after school. And so again, just so the kids understand the importance of volunteering. The agency does a lot for them. What we wanted to teach them is how can they give back to the agency, and more importantly, how can they give back to the community.